Number one, no sprint review. All Scrum events are essential for a team success. You cannot just skip an event. You can observe, however, that junior Scrum teams may be tempted to skip the sprint review. For example, they need a bit more time to accomplish the sprint goal. This is problematic for several reasons. For example, it's way too late to make this decision, right? So if you find out in the middle of the sprint that you probably will not be able to make the sprint call because you have run into some issues you couldn't foresee, for example, some technical debt or people got sick or whatever, then would be a good time to start renegotiating with the product owner what you possibly can take out of the sprint backlog in order to still meet the sprint goal. Right? What you don't do is basically skip Scrum events to save a bit of time. This is really not the way that Scrum is supposed to work. And if that is happening, please have the sprint review and use the upcoming retrospective to figure out what went wrong. And if you have this under control and what you can probably change to prevent this from happening again and during the next sprint. Another issue is probably that you have nothing to show. The point is you have to answer the question where you really have nothing done, absolutely nothing. I would say this is precisely the reason why you should have a sprint review, because there must be something wrong with your sprint backlog. Probably the product backlog refinement wasn't working out. There were misunderstandings, etc. pp. And you certainly want to communicate that to your stakeholders. Remember, it's all about openness, creating transparency. Without transparency, inspection and adaptation. And without inspection and adaptation, there won't be trust built between all the parties. And this is an essential part of this. If you didn't manage to get anything done during the sprint, be open about it, and change your attitude and your approach to this in the next sprint. This may also be fueled from the misperception that you can only show front-end heavy tasks. So some buttons you can click on or whatever, you can show some new functionality. This is absolutely not true. Spoiler alert, you can also show, for example, APIs, and you can even do this at the command line level. The idea that you don't want to bother stakeholders with back-end issues is completely wrong. In my experience is that stakeholders are actually also interested in this part of the application building because they actually want to know and have some insight. And they're totally fine with looking at the command line if you explain this accordingly. So it's very hard from my perspective to find a reason to not have the sprint review in the first place. And absolutely, we didn't build anything is certainly one of the lesser explanations why you should do this.